YouTube, welcome in. It is now time for episode 3 of Ecks Squad Talk Show. I'm here with Austin,
How's it going?
RoCkstar,
Word.
and Steve-O.
Yeet.
By the way, I'm X. I didn't say that. This is going to be history making. This is our first time, all four of us being on the screen at the same time. And let's see, whose topic should we start with? We're going to start with my topic because mine is the only football topic. And then from here on out, after this topic, we're going to be talking about wrestling. Pretty much just WWE for the most part, at least. So my topic of the week is who is going to make it to the Super Bowl this year? And I'll actually go first on this one. Obviously, I hope it's going to be the Bengals. They have a very slight chance of even making the playoffs. Very slight chance. But I don't actually think it's going to be them. I think for the AFC, I think it's going to actually be Houston. The Texans have just been working their way up, and I think Buffalo's on its way down. There's no way New England's going to keep winning. There's no way New England's just going to win from here on out. I mean, you never know, but I don't think New England's just going to keep winning. The Jags are very hit or miss. But I think I think Houston has the momentum behind them, and they could very well make it to the Super Bowl. For the NFC, Austin might be upset with me, but I'm not picking the Rams. I actually think it's going to be the Packers. Green Bay is just that they've been a powerhouse on and off. Like they've had some issues, but all in all, they're just a very powerful team. Micah Parsons on that defense is just making them insane this year. But yeah, there's my Super Bowl. Houston and Green Bay. And whoever wants to go next can have fun trying to top that.
I'll take a shot at it.
Alrighty.
All right, so my Super Bowl, I'm going to go with the AFC. Sorry. Hometown, going to have to go with the Patriots. I believe in what Drake May's doing and Stephon Diggs, Keyshawn Booty. You also got Travion Henderson there. You got Marcus Jones, big punt returner right there. Got a nasty defense. Can't forget about that. Got a nasty, nasty defense. I think when it comes down to it, in the end, if it does come down to Houston and New England, I think it's going to be one hell of a game. But I do think that, I don't know, something about Josh McDaniels. He's got something up his sleeve. And the way he's developing Drake May this season, come on, man. We're 11-2. Nobody expected us to even be where we are at right now. Nobody expected New England to be where we're at. So my AFC pick is New England. For the NFC, Austin's going to like my pick because I'm going to actually go with the Rams. I think the Rams have a shot to beat Green Bay. I think they're better than Green Bay when it comes down to it. Yep, don't get me wrong. Michael Parsons is one nasty defender. Absolutely, and they've got a nasty defense. But I think in the end, my Super Bowl prediction is New England and the Rams.
They show on turf all over again.
For me, of course, I want to see my Steelers get there. They definitely got a better chance than the Bing girls over there. But I still, as far as hopes for us making it, I don't know. It's not looking too good. So the two strongest teams that I feel in the AFC right now are actually the Broncos, and then I have to agree with Steve-O, the Patriots. I mean, both teams are playing real well. Both, second-year quarterbacks that are leading their squad. The Broncos have really been a surpriser, but in the long run, I think I'm going to pick the Patriots to be representing the AFC. in the Super Bowl this year. As far as for the NFC, might be a shocker, but I think it is going to be a slight spoiler season in the playoffs. And I I agree with what Steve has said again with the Rams, but I feel we're going to see some upsets, and I'm going to pick the Bears. In all
Nice.
honesty, I think we are going to see a Bears Patriots Super Bowl.
Wow.
I could be wrong, but just watching them play, they've got a lot of heart playing. They've got a younger squad, but just the way that they've been playing has been a upset team that I think we are going to see in the Super Bowl. So that's my pick: Bears and Patriots.
Nice.
So a rematch of Super Bowl, whatever it was, where the Bears destroyed the Patriots. But
Yeah, that
Yeah.
I forget what year that was.
yeah, I have no
I think
idea.
that was 82, I believe.
But both teams. I mean, neither team was expected to do anything this season. At least not for me. But both teams.
That was Super Bowl 20, 1986.
1986. Okay. Yep.
I was 2 years old.
I was 4.
I was not
You were what now?
9.
I was 96 or 86, did we say?
86.
Oh, I wouldn't be born for another 10 years.
Oh, wow.
So for who's going to the Super Bowl this year, so can I just take a moment to say what a playoff picture right now. We finally got some fresh blood in there. It's not the same teams, the same inevitable matchups, and what it really reminds me of is the playoff picture that we had in 2021, which, as you know, X and I are very familiar with, is yep, the year that our teams met in the Super Bowl. Because you had so many teams that any team that was in the playoff picture could beat any other team. But to go directly to the answers, on the AFC, I think it's a toss-up for me at this point between the Broncos and the Patriots. I think you've got two very solid units there, but based purely on their consistency, I have to go with the Patriots. I think that Vrabel is a shoo-in for Coach of the Year. The man is doing incredible work with broken parts and, basically a dollar store team in a lot of ways because you have so many players that are, not the superstars, but they're all being elevated to the point that they are the number one seed or close to it in a lot of weeks. And on the NFC side, well, I think it was pretty obvious. It's going to be the Cowboys, baby. It's their year. It's finally time. They're going to make it. And no, I've got to go with the Rams, not just because I'm a homer, but because I think the Rams have shown that they are one of the most complete units in football right now. They have an incredibly solid defense. The front four is absolutely monstrous. We've got a very solid secondary. We've got a solid run game with two great options with both Kyron Williams and Blake Corum, who's finally getting some use. And we've got one of the best receiver duos in the league. And as long as we've got healthy tight ends, McVay is going to do ridiculous stuff with them. So I think that it's going to be the what'll that be? The third matchup between the Patriots and the Rams in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, it's 1-1, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 1-1. Yep.
No, we're 0-2.
Oh no, 0-2. That's right. Yeah.
I was thinking Wentz. I was thinking the Eagles for some reason.
The start of the Patriots dynasty was the end of the greatest show on turf.
Yes.
So
Yes,
the
it was.
Patriots did beat the Rams 13-3 in the lowest scoring Super Bowl ever.
Oh, that was a
Please
chore to
don't
watch.
do that again.
No.
It was 2019. Just throwing
As long
that
as
out
somebody
there.
scores a touchdown before the last 10 minutes of the game.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you guys that the Patriots are probably going to be the one. I just didn't want to pick the number 1 and 2 seeds of the Broncos and or the Patriots. But
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in my pick, I don't think the Bears are going to beat the Patriots, but yeah, I'd like to see it. I mean, if the Bears make it, I would cheer for the Bears over the Patriots just because.
I would not. I like Drake May. I like Kayshon Boutte. I don't like Caleb
Can't
Williams.
forget about top.
I don't care about Mario Douglas.
I am liking Trayvon.
Yeah,
Like,
Henderson is good.
Henderson is really good.
Yeah,
But-
let's also appreciate how much of an accomplishment it is that the new Patriots, the new evil empire, is so much more likable than the old one.
Yeah, it's
So far.
absolutely.
So far. Because if they do like the Tom Brady Patriots did, then everybody's gonna hate them again, just like the current Mahomes led Chiefs.
Yeah. I'm glad Mahomes is not going this year.
They've just sort of they lost
Don't
their
say it.
star player this year of the zebra
They-
wearers on the field. That's
They
been their
did.
problem.
Pretty much. And good. It's about time. Like, we don't
Yeah,
need them to
exactly.
be Schittsburg.
No, exactly.
An observation I actually heard about the Chiefs that I think is pretty telling is it's not really a collapse on either side of the ball as far as their performance. It really is the star players, the Kelseys, the Mahomes, that everybody outside of Chris Jones is just not playing at the level that we expect out of them. So it really is them just not stepping up, and in cases trying to step up, but just not being able to deliver in the way they were before.
Yeah, and they don't have
I
enough
agree.
of those players. Because they don't have like a star wide receiver. Xavier Worthy could be, maybe. Rasheed Rice really could be,
I
but
mean, last year Worthy had it last year. Just this year, and I think more of that is just because of, like Austin said, the lack of skill and performance that has come from the quarterback and the other supporting roles to be able to make Worthy perform like he did last year. He needs those other key pieces to help him do that. And with them not running like that final machine like they did a couple years ago, it's just not been the same for him.
I mean,
No, it
even
has-
Worthy last year though, he didn't even break out until like week 12.
Yeah.
Also, it was Worthy that got injured earlier this year, right?
I think it was.
I
Yeah.
think
Probably.
Yeah, because I was thinking the only play from Travis Kelce that like really stands out as memorable to me this year is him taking out their wide receiver one. Like that's the biggest thing I remember about Kelce from this season is dude ran into his own guy and took him out for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Do you consider Worthy wide receiver 1 in KC, or do you consider it being, because I personally consider it being Rasheed Rice.
Well, he was wide receiver one at the time because Rashee Rice was,
Yeah, suspended, whatever. From stupidity. But anyways, on to the next topic, fellas. The next topic was brought to us by Steve-O. And Steve-O can let us know his topic.
So my topic is, of course, wrestling this week. My topic is, who do you think is the greatest tag team of all time is? And actually, I'll go first. For me, I got to go with the Dudley Boys. I got to go with Bubba Ray and Devon. Those two guys, man, the way they came up through ECW and the way that they just, between them and the Hardy Boys, the way that they built that tag team back in the day and the way the tag team division grew from there. I mean, don't get me wrong, back in the 80s, of course, we had Legion of Doom, Steiner Brothers, you got the Hart Foundation, you got so many great tag teams. But for me, I don't know what it is about the Dudleys, but they're just like my favorite tag team of all time. It's just they've had so many memorable matches with them and the Hardys, and just I mean, they're the creators when you think about it of the TLC, and Edge and Christian involved in that mix right there. So for me, I gotta say it's the Dudley Boys.
I mean, I can't disagree. I feel that, yeah, the Dudleys, they were a great tag team for the modern era. They went through, and if it hadn't been for their performance in ECW back in the 90s, ECW would have definitely sunk well before it did.
True.
It took players like them and that to, and they even before, Bubba, it was Bubba Ray and Devon, but then you also had all the others, Spike Dudley, Big Dig
Yeah.
Dudley, and that is what to me made the Dudleys one of the great tag teams of all time, but not the greatest tag team of all time, in my opinion. And just like you had said, the Hardys. Did you happen to watch the match that the Hardys and Dudleys had, where the Dudleys retired in TNA just earlier this year?
I did, yes.
Yeah, that was a very emotional after the match. The way that was great. But the Hardys, they were great as well. But for me, I've got to go with one of my original favorite tag teams, and that is What a Rush. The Legion of Doom, just because the way that they performed together, plus they were two monsters, muscle packed. The, Mohawk and then the double reversed Mohawk or whatever it was that Hawk had
Yeah.
going on in the day.
Yeah.
The Legion of Doom, they were one of my first favorite tag teams to watch. So for me, it's the Legion of Doom, I would have to say. But man, that's also leaving out the New Day, not the current New Day, but the New Day back whenever it was Woods, Biggie, and Kofi, the tag team title New Day before Kofi Mania. They were amazing as well. Not quite to the Dudleys level, but definitely notable in conversation for one of the greatest tag teams.
Oh, I absolutely agree with you.
Oh, I absolutely agree. New Day should be in the conversation. I think they got stale though, personally. But obviously in the conversation is the Dudleys, I think the most decorated tag team in wrestling history. Because they've won ECW, WWE, uh, TNA, all sorts of uh, indie tag teams. Ring of Honor, I think they even had that one. But
They had the ring tag titles, yeah.
for me, it's got to be the No, it's the Hardys. The Usos are a very close number two. But the Hardy Boys, just like I said last week with the innovation, and just like Steve-O mentioned with the TLC match, you couldn't have had that TLC match, the original TLC in SummerSlam 2000, without the Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian, or the Dudleys. But the Hardy Boys were always one of my favorites. I mean, way back in the day in the 80s, it was LOD and the Rockers. I had a love-hate relationship with the Hart Foundation, but that has a lot more to do with Shawn Michaels. But
Yeah.
the Hardy Boys, all in all, I mean, risk takers, they always entertaining. Jeff finally got his shit together, but always entertaining, always just doing anything to bring more attention to the tag team division, which we need another team like that right now. The closest I see is maybe the Motor City Machine Guns. But yeah,
I'm a big fan of the Righteous. They currently signed with TNA. They were in AEW, but with the right push at their potential, their character, it's amazing. If you're not familiar with them, you need to go through and look them up, watch some of their stuff. But Butch and I don't remember the other guy's name, but Yeah, they've got that creepy gimmick going on, kind of like a mix between Wyatt slash Broken Hardy type feel to it,
Okay.
except with that, you know, going to the light, like wearing the white suit, look like the religious-y type,
So like
Right.
Shawn Michaels
sort of
against the Undertaker.
no.
That's what we like to call foreshadowing.
But
So,
no,
so it's more
definitely
like
look up
more like the evil Uno stable in AEW. I can't remember the name of it because I don't follow
well,
AEW.
more like the Wyatt Six,
Okay.
except it's just two guys, but they don't have the creepiness to them. They've just got that weirdness that has, how the Bray Wyatt, whenever he was, doing the crazy talk before the Fiend,
Okay. So
basically just,
Wyatt family,
cryptic
not Wyatt
speak.
Six.
Yeah, Wyatt family-ish feel.
All right, I've got to go old school on this. Easily the oldest team that any of us has brought up. I got to go with the Fabulous Freebirds.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
That was a
Yes.
family that pretty much shaped what tag team wrestling would be for decades. The tornado tag match, the Texas death matches, like they did
The
so
Freebird
much
rule.
to the Freebird rule. So much of like the DNA of modern tag team wrestling goes back to the Freebirds. And absolutely tragic, like terrible, terrible fates for most of them. But everything that they did to shape tag team wrestling into what it became in their own era and what it's continued to be into our era is absolutely insane. So simply for them laying the foundation on which tag team wrestling in the modern era really feels like it was built, I've got to go with the Fabulous Freebirds.
Nice.
I thought about mentioning the Midnight Express because I mean them and the Freebirds, but Midnight Express was amazing. I'm a big Cornette fan, so I've been watching him since I was a kid. And yeah, the Midnight Express was on my mind in it as well as old school. And yeah, their battles with the Freebirds. And plus, to me, the Freebirds is a great answer because they are the ones that introduced the Freebird rule to where it was the tag team championship, but any of the members could defend in the match. That was one thing that did make them great.
That's
Yeah,
true. I agree.
I
And
just find it
the New
funny
Day,
that the
like the
youngest
New
one
Day
here,
wouldn't be.
picks the oldest team.
I'm an absolute hipster.
Mm.
Historian. All right, so we got 4 different answers for the greatest tag team, and I don't think anybody could argue that any of those tag teams shouldn't be at least in the top for top 5, top 10, at least the top 10.
Maybe.
But on to the next topic. Spoiler alert, actually. Next week, my topic, since you mentioned Jim Cornette there, Rockstar, next week, my topic is going to be who is the greatest manager in wrestling history.
Uh,
Oh,
all
that's gonna
right,
be a fun
YouTube
one.
viewers, be prepared for our 3-hour episode
Oh
just
yeah.
on X's topic.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Thank you for
Beware.
coming to my TED Talk.
All right. And one moment. All right, up next we have Rockstar's topic. And I'll let him tell you what it is.
All right, so my topic is a wrestling topic this week, and it is who was your favorite on-screen couple in WWE? And for that one, I gave it a lot of thought because there had been so many great couples over the years. Triple H and Steph were amazing as far as with the Authority stuff. But my answer is actually going to be Sensational Sherry and Macho Man Randy Savage. whenever their on-screen chemistry was great. Yes, Macho Man and Elizabeth being the real life couple, having that going on was great. But Sherry and Macho Man, like Sherry was one of my favorite valets back in the day, and the way that she and him they went through, and you could feel them walk into the room, and so Macho Man and Sensational Sherry are definitely my pick, especially with the whole Zeus thing.
Oh yeah.
As much as no holds barred is frowned upon, you know,
It was a
Tiny
great,
Lister
terrible
did
movie.
a great job of acting slash and then wrestling. He was to me the first wrestler or actor wrestler. I feel almost that I can. So there's my answer.
Yeah, he
I'm
first
going to
actor
toss
turned
Steve-O.
wrestler. Yeah.
Steve-O, let's hear your answer.
Me?
Yeah.
All right. So greatest on wow, couple. Whew. For me, I'm gonna go with Edge and Lita. The chemistry that Edge and Lita had together when they were doing that with the whole Matt Hardy rivalry going on when he was, they had an affair or whatever. Edge, I don't know, just the chemistry between the two of them and the on screen that they used to do. You could feel, just like you said, Rockstar, about Sensational Sherry and Macho Man. You know when they came into a room, like when Edge and Lita did that, you knew they were in that room. And I don't know, for me, it has to be Edge and Lita.
All right, I've got to jump in because this is too good to be made up. My pick is Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth. To me, they were a great example of how wrestling at its core, you are taking real people, real life relationships, and making theater out of them on stage. Uh, and it shows that Macho Man and Elizabeth could have been the most toxic, horrible for each other, probably never should have been together couple in real life, and yet they were such a compelling and just heartwarming couple on stage. The moment where Sherry, is abusing uh, Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth comes to the rescue, it's one of the most iconic moments in WWE history. Him raising her on his shoulder, it's something that's burned into my memory. So it's a direct counter to yours, but I got to go with it. And now all we need is for X to choose Matt Hardy and Lita, and we'll have completed the circle.
Oh yeah,
Well,
we
so
will.
my number 2 pick actually would have been probably Bam Bam and Luna Vachon. Bam Bam Bigelow and Luna Vachon. They're on screen on screen chemistry.
Oh, yeah.
Plus it could have just been the tattoos on the side of both their heads that sort of made them look like they fit together well.
So
Oh
now,
yeah.
That's a great sleeper pick
now
right
I'm gonna
there.
give mine. Now I'm gonna give mine real quick. First, before I do that, I'm gonna say I thought about Macho Man and Elizabeth. I thought about Lita and Edge. I never thought about Sherry and Macho. Um, as far as Macho Man and Elizabeth goes, I 100% agree with you, Austin. There's two things with the Macho Man that are burned into my memory, and that's one of them. And the other one is him being bitten by a snake on television with
Oh
Jake
yeah.
Snake Roberts. That was scary for a young child. But I loved it, and
Oh,
It was scary for Macho Man too.
oh yeah, oh yeah. He make sure have it bite you first. Have it bite you first. Um,
Man, you
but
probably crapped your pants whenever the Warrior was bleeding the black stuff that
no,
Papa Shango put on him.
I, not really, because I like Papa Shango better. I was more of a Papa Shango fan than I was a Warrior fan. Um, but my favorite on-screen relationship couple, I should say, it's got to be Maria Kanellis and John Cena. Their chemistry backstage. No, I'm just kidding. It is actually Bam Bam Bigelow and Luna Vachon. Um,
Really?
because it wasn't all about lovey-dovey. It wasn't pushed down our throat. They just seemed like they belonged together. No idea if outside of wrestling, like real life, they actually did anything. No clue. Didn't do any research on that. Don't care. On screen, I feel like they were one of, if not, obviously, the best couple because, like I said, because it wasn't pushed down our throats. It wasn't, oh yeah, these two are always, making out and whatever, blah blah blah, or always have to be next to each other. It's just she's his main squeeze, and she helped him out with Doink.
Well, I didn't mean to sort of burst the bubble. I had no idea you were going to say those two, but yeah, I mean, like I said, those two were my number 2 pick.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice
Yeah,
pick.
I had to put Maria and John Cena in there though. Had to get a little chuckle out of people.
Well, it was better
Like
than
the
the
Cowboys pick.
what was the other story that was frowned upon? Oh God, what was that from the Attitude Era? I can't remember it. Somebody out there knows. YouTube, if you know, put it in the comments.
Are we talking about Triple H and Katie Vick? Or Kane
Yes,
and Katie Vick?
That is it. Yes. Yes.
The stories that have come out since then about the scene in the funeral home are just comedy gold.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there were some things in the Attitude Era that crossed the line but were fun. Then there were some things that crossed the line and just crossed the line.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Kai and Tai. Choppy the BB.
Yeah, with
There was
Ryan
plenty that
Shamrock.
left us sitting there.
I
Plenty that
know.
left us sitting there going, what are we doing, guys?
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah, that was kind of insane as well. But before we get on to the main event of Austin's question or topic, in lieu of tonight being Saturday night's main event with John Cena's final match in WWE, we think, I'm going to ask the question, who do you think should have been his actual opponent tonight? And I'm going to actually go Austin first.
Oh, so this is a tough one because there's so many great choices, so many great stories from across John's career. If Kurt Angle were still in good health, he would have been an excellent choice. If Edge were still under contract, he would have been a great choice. But for me, it's got to be Randy Orton. Their careers have been intertwined so much. Their feuds against each other, and the fact that their careers have just always been one than the other, championship. I feel like the two going out together would have been fantastic. Honestly, if the two were, if the retirement match was for a vacant world championship and that was to determine who would set the record, I think that would have been great. But in general, I do think it should have been Randy.
That's a great answer. I can't even be mad about that answer. Like, John Cena versus Randy Orton, number 54, should have been could have been his final match. Who wants to go next? RoCkstar or
Yeah, for me, just like Austin said, the ideal in a perfect world would have been Kurt Angle versus Cena because that was Cena's first big match. That ruthless aggression is what he brought. But for me, that would be my answer in an ideal environment. In current active wrestlers, as far as John Cena's final opponent, for me, I would have loved to seen either against or tagging with in a match R-Truth, because the impact that R-Truth and John Cena made with, that's his childhood hero. You've got to think of that, man. You've got to go through and keep that in mind. And I would have loved to have seen John Cena's last match, with it being the tournament the way it is against R-Truth, and for him to get even snubbed from the tournament altogether was very disappointing to me. Or even if his last match would have been a tag team match with R-Truth against somebody, would have been worth it for me. So R-Truth is my pick.
If it was a tag team match, though, I think his teammate should have been Zack Ryder. But R-Truth is another great answer. I can't be mad about that one. Steve-O, what do you got?
Well, see, Austin took my answer because I was actually going to go with the same person. I thought that the Viper Randy Orton should have been Cena's last opponent. The chemistry and the rivalry that those two had back in the day was unbelievable. They would beat the living crap out of each other, and just the way that they worked so well together in the ring, just it would have had to been Randy for me. But of course, now I have to go with another answer because hey, but like I said, so if I have to go with another opponent for Cena, first of all, I'm going to say this right off the bat: Gunther does not deserve to be Cena's last opponent. He's 38 years old. I don't think he deserves to have the torch passed to him. From me,
Do you think it should have been LA Knight then? Is that what you're saying with that?
I think it should have been LA Knight. I think LA
How
Knight
old's
should.
LA Knight? LA Knight's about
43, isn't he?
he's in his 40s. So
I mean, the way that they kept pushing LA Knight, but never gave him the run that he deserved. Like I just think that maybe that would have helped it a little bit more to maybe get him that run if he was the one to be John Cena's last opponent. I mean, I don't know. I gotta go with LA Knight because I just don't think he's gotten the run that he deserves yet.
I don't know. I just asked because I'm happy with Gunther being his final opponent. I think that Gunther still has enough longevity in him to where he will be a world champion numerous times down the road if he stays with WWE, and he is a great answer to pass the torch to. But that's just my opinion on that.
No, and I can see, and I completely agree with your opinion from where you're coming from with it, and I agree with you. But then again, I would have also loved to see CM Punk be his last opponent. I mean, the rivalry with him and CM Punk, that's another rivalry like him and Orton. Together, they worked so well together in the ring, and the rivalries that they had with one another. And you got, of course, Cena dropping the pipe bomb, and then Cena when he decided to turn heel and get his 17th championship, not the way I wanted to see it happen. Not at all the way I wanted to see it happen at all. But the way he returned the favor with his own pipe bomb right on the corner, right sitting on the top turnbuckle. And he said, Cena,
Claudio
CM Punk was,
Castagnoli.
hi Claudio Castagnoli, hi Matt Cardona, hi Nick Nemeth.
Yep.
And but for me, yeah, I'd have to go with LA Knight.
As far as that goes, LA Knight, I don't know. Like I like LA Knight. I think I liked Eli Drake more, but LA Knight is fine. As far as Nick Nemeth and Matt Cardona and Claudio Castagnoli, I'm upset that we didn't get Claudio.
Yeah.
You know why? It's very obvious why. However, I think John Cena's final match should have been against Braun Breaker because I first off want to see those two collide. I feel like that would have been one of John Cena's greatest matches. And just like Steve-O talked about passing the torch, who better to pass the torch to than Braun Breaker? He's going to be a multiple time champion. I can't even he needs to be a multiple time champion. Otherwise, I will stop watching WWE. Okay, I won't. But but as far as Gunther actually being,
I'll stop watching WWE when they let that jackass Logan Paul win a world title that he doesn't deserve. Get out, dude. Just get the hell out of the business. You don't belong there. Screw.
He doesn't deserve it yet.
No, he doesn't deserve it at all.
He is working his ass off. I will give him that. I don't like him. I don't like him as a person. I don't like him as a character. I like his work ethic. However,
I
I'm not.
want to comment on.
I'm not.
I was gonna say I want to comment on your answer real quick because I feel that if Breaker would have been Cena's final opponent, I mean, we all know Cena's gonna win his last match. If it would have been Breaker versus Cena, that would make Breaker seem weak somehow. I feel, whereas opposed, I think Gunther can take the loss to Cena and still come out on top looking good because I think Cena's gonna win tonight. I want Gunther to win, but I think Cena will win.
I hope Cena wins tonight.
I hope.
I mean,
Cena
for his
doesn't
last
win.
don't do him like that. Don't do him like that. He's going out like that. Don't embarrass him like that. Don't.
He's lost his last several matches. He needs that win.
But
to
no,
go out.
don't. I think Gunther should win tonight. Because it's a passing of the torch. And Super Cena, very controversial, very much like, oh yeah, Cena's gonna win again. Cena wins, yep. Cena's gonna win. So I think him losing to Gunther is actually the best what is best for business, if we want to go back to, the authority era. I think that's the best. And as far as Gunther or LA Knight, when the finals was announced, I think Gunther versus John Cena is a better match than LA Knight versus John Cena, regardless of anything.
Okay, I agree with that. I mean, we can all agree that we all know he's going into the Hall of Fame next year.
Oh yeah,
easily.
The Never Seen 17 deserves a Hall of Fame ring. There's no doubt about that.
But I'm sorry.
I don't think he deserves it next year, but within the next 3 years, yes.
Then they better put Bray Wyatt in next year because that's bullshit.
The question isn't if, it's when.
Yeah, that man already been put in the Hall of Fame. I'm sorry.
Now
on to the main event of the episode.
Did Austin give his answer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Randy Orton.
The question lasted so long.
Yeah, that's Randy Orton. I was going to say, wow, yeah, my bad.
All right. So, the main event. My question for the podcast is, one of the biggest institutions in WWE, historic, was The Streak. The undefeated streak of The Undertaker at WrestleMania. It didn't start out, it wasn't planned to be that way, but it's something that happened organically, and it's been something that was part of our lives growing up watching wrestling up until this moment that Brock Lesnar shattered it. Now, it's generally accepted that Brock Lesnar wasn't the best person to break the streak, so my question for the podcast, if the streak had to end, who should have did it?
I'll answer first today. I don't know why I said today, but I'll answer first. I think it should. I agree. It should not have been Brock Lesnar. I don't think Roman Reigns should have beat him either. I think it should have been Bray Wyatt once again to pass the torch. Have Bray Wyatt be the new face of fear as he was portrayed to be. Hindsight would have sucked, but at the time, Bray Wyatt should have been the one to beat The Undertaker, to become the new face of fear, to become the new phenom, the new person to have those characters that didn't need a title, but was always had that aura, which Bray Wyatt always did. He always had that aura around him that made everybody gravitate to him and want to watch his matches, regardless of whether it was for a title or not, or like it didn't matter what type of match it was or anything like that. Like, and I guess the Firefly Funhouse could have ended up being the new Inferno match or casket match. But yeah, in my opinion, it's a no-brainer. It should be Bray Wyatt, but I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure we don't all have the same answer. Whoever's next, I assume it's going to be RoCkstar.
Oh no, I'll save mine for last.
I
Go
think
ahead,
Austin's
Alright.
going
Steve-O.
last.
All right. So, wow, that's a good one, man. Austin, you got me with a good one here. So first of all, I do agree with X and Austin. I don't think that Brock should have been the one to shatter it. That was just completely and totally disrespectful to the Undertaker, in my opinion. The relationship he supposedly had with him and Vince McMahon all those years, and you're gonna go and you're gonna let a man that doesn't need it, who made a name for himself already, break the streak and shatter it like that. I'm sorry. I have to disagree. As far as it goes with it, see, this takes me back to the Broken Skull session with him and Stone Cold Steve Austin. And at the time when they were sitting down and they were having that conversation, they were sitting there and even they both agreed that it shouldn't have been Brock. Now, in Austin and Undertaker's opinion, they thought it should have been Roman because they thought that Roman was the one that needed it at that time. For me, I'm going to have to disagree. I don't think it should have been Roman. I actually think that it should have been Randy Orton. I think Randy Orton being in that stage at that time as the legend killer status, the way he was starting to come up more and more and starting to grow on his own more as, I mean, he did have a great rivalry with The Undertaker. So yeah, for me, I've got to say, I think it should have been at that time the legend killer Randy Orton that should have broke the streak.
Interesting.
I think that's an excellent choice. Such a good choice that it was mine initially. However, I did have a backup. Seems fair. I got you last time around, and you got me this time.
Man,
So if it weren't to be the Legend Killer, which I think that would have been an excellent choice, it would have been my first choice. I would have to go with Triple H. It wouldn't have worked quite as much as a passing of the torch, but the story and the build-up to their match at WrestleMania 28, I believe it was, the Hell in a Cell match, it was perfect. It was amazing storytelling. It was a man that was willing to do anything to accomplish this goal that wasn't even a title. He didn't care about championship. He wanted to put his name into history as the one to break the streak. I think it was treated with the proper reverence. At that point, it had built up to be 20 or 19 to nothing going into the match. That I feel like that would have been a good one. It wouldn't have elevated Triple H any more than he already is. Man is a Hall of Famer as soon as he wants to get in because he's making those decisions now. But I think that story-wise, it would have been a satisfying conclusion to the streak.
I can't
Nice.
disagree with that.
I
And
can't either.
Triple H definitely whenever he wants to. Although he might be too humble. It might have to be Stephanie that goes, "Hey, you're going in," kind of like he did with her this year. I think it was this year.
Yeah.
I can absolutely see her flipping the script on him.
Oh God, yes, absolutely.
All right, so I guess that takes it to me to answer now. I do agree with what Steve-O said. I feel that, Roman needed that push, but at that point in time, everybody hated Roman. If they would have had Roman do it, it would have went negatively all around for the simple fact that they would have been more of Roman getting pushed down the throat. So my answer is I've been thinking about it ever since Austin had put the topic out there for us to think about. And I've given it a lot of thought. And I am glad that Brock Lesnar was the one that broke the streak for the simple fact he did not need the push. But in the last 10 years, who has been the most beast, the most impactful as far as size, as far as speed, as far as muscle, everything? Brock Lesnar was the supreme combination of all of those. that could take down something as powerful as the Phenom, being the Undertaker. The only thing humanly that could take down something that was supernatural like the Undertaker, in my opinion, was Brock Lesnar. Roman couldn't have done it. Triple H didn't have it. Nobody else available at the time, and we knew that the Undertaker was coming to an end. There is nobody at that point in time other than Brock Lesnar to answer that question.
Very
And
controversial.
piggybacking off of that, I will say, outside of maybe Ken Shamrock and Haku, I think it's fair to say that Brock Lesnar is the most legitimate combat athlete in pro wrestling, uh, maybe ever. The man could fold your clothes while you're still wearing them.
Oh yeah.
So when it comes to the legitimacy to the believability, uh, I think that he is a guy that you could look at and say, yeah, this man could do it. Though a bit of that does come to the actual aspect of pro wrestling being theater. Because we know that some of these guys could legitimately beat the crap out of others. I remember when Matt Riddle was saying, "Oh, I could actually beat the crap out of Seth Rollins." Like, yes, we know that. That's because he's not an actual like combat athlete. You're kind of missing the point. But I do think that Brock did help elevate. It did help to elevate Brock as being the monster. He was easily hateable, and that just made him more hateable. Also, I think we can all agree that if it did end up being Roman, it would have been Vader versus Antonio Inoki all over again. There would have been a riot on their hands.
Oh yeah.
It being Brock, I understand why it actually happened. Like going into the match, it wasn't supposed to happen, but Undertaker, had a concussion and couldn't do anything really.
Yeah.
So it got flipped on the fly. But it being Brock Lesnar, like I oh excuse me, I didn't like it, but I understood it. And storyline, oh my goodness, storyline wise, I understand like him being the beast, and I agree with you on that one, Rockstar. Like who could beat the Phenom but a beast?
Yeah. I agree.
And yeah, I as far as humans go, that's why my person was a little supernatural as well. But yeah, very controversial take on that one though. There, Rockstar. You might not be in the next week's episode.
Well, it happens. If so, it's been nice knowing y'all. Make sure to check out my YouTube channel, Rockstar CC Nonsense. And yeah.
Hey, we're nothing without hot takes. We need to have our controversial ones up there. It drives clicks.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Ric Flair isn't the greatest. Comment down below. Let us know what you think of all of our takes. Let us know how controversial any of them are. Like the video. Subscribe so you can see more. And I mean, we're 8 subscribers away right now from being able to go live with these. And we'll see you in the next one.
See you later, guys. On the one main event.